Hi and welcome to the Mahi Virtual Vineyard Tour. Here's New Zealand, located in the southwest Pacific, and as we zoom in you can see that the country's positioned on top of the joining of two tectonic plates. As these have moved, they've formed the mountain range which runs right down the spine of the islands, and it is such an important thing for the overall wine industry because most of New Zealand's wine regions are located on the east coast because these mountains protect us from the very wet westerlies. Coming into Marlborough, you see there's two main valleys. The pink is the Wairau Valley, the yellow is the Awatere. And as most of Mahi's vineyards are planted in the Wairau, we'll focus a little bit more on that area. You can also see the mountain ranges, which serve to protect the valley. And as we zoom in across the Wither Hills, those ones are key. They protect us from the moist winds that come from the south. And you'll see across to the north, we've got the Richmond Ranges. And again, they're very, very important. They protect us from the rains that come from the west. All of our bad stuff comes from Australia, including the rain. And what happens, it comes across, hits the west coast of that mountain range and drops the rain there. And so we just get very dry winds that come through. As we move up the Wairau, you'll see there are three mountain ranges which go out into the valley, and they give us the three southern valleys, which again are an important part of Marlborough. This first one is our Guernsey vineyard. This is a Sauvignon Blanc vineyard, which is really the vineyard which is the most furtherly west for us. The further west you get, the cooler it is. But this vineyard's really interesting in that it's on the cooler end, so we get more of those sort of grapefruit, citric sort of characters. But you'll see from the hill on the end of it that this protects it from some of those cooler sort of southerly winds which come up our valley from the east. And so it allows it to ripen a little bit earlier, but still retaining some of those sort of more intense grapefruit characters. Moving across into the Twin Valleys vineyard, you can see we've come across the valley to the north. This one we've got three varieties. It's still up the cooler end of the valley, but from that we've got Chardonnay, the clone 95, we've got Pinot Noir, we've got three different clones of Pinot Noir in there, and also Gewürztraminer. Again, they're three early varieties, so we like having them down this sort of western end of the valley so that they've got longer time to hang on the vines. Both of these two vineyards are owned by Peter and Ann Reed, very focused growers, and as you can see, they live in the vineyard, which to us that makes a difference, that they've always seen the vineyard. Moving across here into our Burn vineyard. Now this was the first vineyard that we worked with Mahi. And it's based on two varieties. It's still up that cooler end. This has got Sauvignon Blanc and also two clones of Pinot Noir. You'll see the long rows are clone 10/5. The other one's clone 115, and this is certified organic. Moving now down towards the river. This is Paul and Robbie Taylor's vineyard. Again, an organic and biodynamic vineyard. And from here we take some Chardonnay, which we've made our Alchemy Chardonnay from, and also some Sauvignon Blanc. The Sauvignon's planted east-west, and the Chardonnay's planted north-south. And what we find with this one, because it's close to the river, you've got very well-drained soils, and also you get good air movement with the winds coming down the river. And again, that really helps in terms of the organics because it sort of keeps the airflow coming around the bunches and keeping botrytis pressure down. Okay, moving south through the valley, we're moving into the vineyard of Mike and Cheryl Wadworth. This is a Sauvignon Blanc vineyard, which we take three different parcels from it, all being quite distinct. There was a river that ran through this vineyard many years ago, and the vineyard to the north, so straight down below, is our Stones vineyard, much stonier. Then the one sort of heading back, we've got the Pump vineyard, which was on sort of the side of this bank of the river, so slightly higher clay in the soils or silt, so we picked that a little bit later. And then the one which we're looking straight down on now is the Home vineyard. You'll see that one's planted north-south, and again that was on the banks of the river, so that's slightly higher silt, so it ripens a little bit later. All given quite distinct characters, and these three blocks we probably pick over about 6 times. Okay, moving across towards the winery. This is the winery's on the left-hand side. We're just looking down into the Wetherall vineyard. The The Wetherell vineyard again is a Sauvignon one. We manage it, but we're planting now some Chardonnay and Semillon in that. Again, because we lease it, it's certified organic. And then looking down into the winery vineyard, this one is Pinot Noir, planted quite old Pinot, predominantly clone 115. And then on the right-hand side of it, we're replanting some older clones of Chardonnay. We're planting those with probably more quality-focused clones of Chardonnay and a little bit of Semillon. Moving across into our Francis vineyard, we just take a small portion of this, owned by Pam and Polly Francis. Slightly richer soil and gives us more palate weight, and because it's closer to the sea, it gives slightly more tropical flavours. Okay, moving into Boundary Farm, you'll see this is on the foothills of the Wither Hills, and it's a north-facing slope, much higher clay soils, and because it's on the north slope, it's protected from those cold southerlies. It comes in a bit earlier, and we make one of our single vineyard Sauvignons from that. Okay, moving through the Hour Tree and down and towards, so this is our most southerly vineyard. The Ward vineyard, again owned by Pam and Polly Francis, and this is one that we've been working with for quite a while. On the left-hand side is the hill slope of our Sauvignon, which is always our latest Sauvignon. You'll see it's very close to the sea, but it's much more exposed to the cool southerlies. And then on the right-hand side, we've got both our Pinot Gris, 4 different clones of Pinot Gris there, and also Pinot Noir. The Pinot Noir and the Pinot Gris, again, like those cooler conditions. Okay, so pulling back out, you can see, the whole valley and where our particular vineyards are. You can see they're quite diverse, so we get quite different flavours, and that's really why we set up Mahi, to show those different characters that you get from Marlborough vineyards. So we do both our single vineyards and our Marlborough blend, which, sort of probably brings all of those characters together. And, hopefully this has given you a good overview of what we're looking at in Marlborough. Thank you.